listen, you have a number of recognizable celebrity voices in this, and they're all fine. You know, Chris Rock, James Marsden, who is always doing these types of movies, Kristen Bell, Kim Kardashian, you know, who certainly knows a lot about Doggy Style, so I can see why they casted her.
Don't be rude.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God,
Stop.
don't be
What are you
throw the thing on
doing?
me. I'll hurt you.
Hello, and thank you for checking out the video. I just want to let you know that I not only create content on my YouTube channel, Class in the Glass, but I'm also on Twitch, where I review movies, cartoons, and TV shows live, while also playing single-player games and multiplayer games. I also have a Patreon, where subscribers have access to hundreds of video and audio commentaries for films and cartoons, as well as podcasts and videocasts. In the meantime, thank you again for watching. Enjoy the video. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the cinematic masterpiece that is, yes, Paw Patrol, the mighty movie, the theatrical sequel to the original Paw Patrol movie, which I also have seen and also reviewed and also enjoyed. I was already aware of Paw Patrol. I was like, oh, yeah, little kid show and everything. But, I never thought I would be watching multiple movies in this franchise. But, chat, here we are, and this was made possible through your generous donation. Biggie Smith, I believe. Biggie Smith, you were the one who was so generous with your donation that compelled me to watch this movie. So, again, huge thank you to you. Very, very kind. And, of course, everyone's generosity in regards to my content and my reviews. I really do appreciate you. All the feedback. But, hey, I got to let you know what's going on. I can provide you the history, the background, the synopsis of Paw Patrol, the mighty movie. The Paw Patrol pups magically gain superpowers after a meteor strikes Adventure City. However, things take a turn for the worse when Mayor Humdinger, ex-Mayor Humdinger, and a mad scientist steal their powers and turn themselves into supervillains. Meanwhile, Skye's tragic backstory is revealed to all. Now, before jumping into even my overall thoughts in the series and the movie itself, I do want to get into some detail in regards to my viewing experience for Paw Patrol, the movie. Obviously, Chad, I am a 32-year-old man, and a little odd going to the theater alone, no significant other with me, no friends with me, chat, just going to the theater alone to go see this movie, which is meant for small children, chat, like 5, 6 years old. You're pushing it at 7, chat. I'm definitely pushing it at 32. There's no question about that. And I saw an early. I didn't see a super early screening, which is probably what I should have done. At 9:30 in the morning, 9 in the morning, where all the senior citizens are sucking on their Werther's Originals. I love the smell of caramel, chat, but it can be sometimes overwhelming that early in the morning. But I went to an early afternoon screening, and I went to the ticket booth. And, before I said what I was going to get, I was like, hey, this is probably going to be, really weird. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm just a critic seeing this film. But I need one for Paw Patrol, the mighty movie. And the person there, the ticket operator, the person working at the cash register just kind of looked at me. There was, silence for, a minute. And they got the ticket ready for me. And they said, sure. Sure, okay, yeah, enjoy Paw Patrol, sir. I'm like, and I wasn't going to sass him back. I was not going to sass him back. I was like, thank you. Just head shame, looking down at my feet, and just didn't make eye contact with anyone else. But yep, I got a little shame, Chad. I got a little shamed by the ticket person working the booth. And listen, I don't blame him. I'm not gonna blame these people, okay? I mean, I was like, I would be like, I don't know. I'd be eyeing them too if I saw a 32-year-old, white male, bearded white male, go and see the Paw Patrol movie alone with no kids in sight, chat. You think I'm going to be maybe walking out with some kids or something like that, but, listen, I get it. I totally understand. So I went to the theater, and I sat at, in the kind of the front row area, but right near the exit. So in case the parents, turned on me and what the hell is this guy doing here? He doesn't have any kids, and they would attack me. I made sure that I knew where all the exits were, no matter what, chat, to my right, to my left, and, of course, behind me. So I was like, okay, here we go. And they kind of all missed me, so I was strategic about it. When they all entered, they wouldn't notice me because they would all take their kids up to the upper seats. And so they would probably only notice me if they were really looking for me. It's like, hey, what's the fucking weird guy doing? But thankfully, I didn't get any nasty looks from the parents, Chad. I made sure not to they may have been eyeing me at one point, but I did not make eye contact with anyone else, especially after being shamed, and, rightfully so, by the ticket booth person. So I was like, you know what? let's just watch the movie, okay? I got a lot to pay attention to because, the lore of Paw Patrol is dense. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of history in this series. And speaking of the series, I do want to share my overall thoughts on the franchise at this point. I think I was always aware of the existence of Paw Patrol I guess for the last several years. I'm not sure how long it's been out there, but I don't know, let's say 5, 6, maybe almost like a decade now at this point. It's been out there for a while. Very, very popular. No doubt about it. And just through, pop cultural osmosis and just seeing the pups advertised in different stores and on commercials and fast food stuff. It's like you may not have seen a Paw Patrol episode, might not even be aware of the movies, but you're aware of their existence. And, the first time that I watched anything Paw Patrol related was the first theatrical film, I guess from either a year ago or 2 years ago at this point. Feels like it was just a year ago, Chad. That's how much that movie meant to me. And listen, despite my kind of amused disinterest of the film, I actually found the movie to be quite charming and cute. And even surprising. The whole idea of Paw Patrol is you have these puppies that basically are superhero-esque and they do specific professions for wherever city they're in. I guess they started out in this city or this town called Adventure Bay, and then eventually they went to Adventure City. This is the first movie. I'm just breaking down the first movie for you, not doing a nice little spoiler review, a nice little scene by scene breakdown for Paw Patrol the movie, the movie. And that's all. They introduce you to those concepts in the beginning of the first film, and they do so here as well. In case you're not caught up, like some other jabronis out there. But the thing that actually surprised me about the movie is that they were all doing their typical stuff. They got to defeat, their supervillain, Mayor Humdinger, who just wants to kill the puppies. Got to kill those puppies. That's his whole thing. He has cats that want to also participate in the murder of the puppies. But they had this plot line that focus, this B plot. And the thing is, it holds true for this movie too. The B plot's always the more interesting plot in these films. It's the one that's kind of in a way kind of meant for the adults. I was kind of invested in this moment, this sequence in the film, this plotline in the film. And it focuses on Chase, the police dog, who is this little puppy German Shepherd, Chad. And I guess he's, other than Ryder, who's the human leader of the group. I think, in terms of the hierarchy, it goes Ryder, who's kind of like the Bruce Wayne Batman of the group, Chad. These are his wards. These are his Robins, if you will. And then after that, you have Chase, the police dog. And everybody else. Maybe Skye, you would say, is the next one in command. I don't know. But he developed severe PTSD because he was abandoned in Adventure City. And so every time he went into that city, Adventure City, he would just fucking fall apart. He'd be like, oh God, I don't know what to do. He wouldn't be able, he can't work at any of his cars and his gadgets and stuff. He was unable to save save people that might have resulted in them dying. It wasn't for the other pups. It was this is actually emotional. It was in the movie was him dealing with his trauma of being abandoned in a place that was very, very scary, chat, especially for anybody, but especially for a puppy. Right? And so that was the subplot of that movie that I'm this is actually surprisingly good. And they kind of do the same thing here. It's they have the big generic plot line where, they all get superpowers and all that. And, they'll sell toys. But then they have this is when the writers were okay, do this, then you can do whatever you want. It feels like that. And they do something like they did in the previous film here again. And I was like, you know what? More power to you. I'm actually glad you did that because at least it invested me a little bit more in this childhood cartoon. Because, listen, this is a series and film franchise that's meant for little kids. That's their top priority. But again, there is some amusing parts of this movie, and of course the last film, that are quite funny and even weird, and they're kind of winking at the audience too. They're winking at the kids, but even though they're also winking at the adults at this point. And again, it even sneaks in some bizarrely tragic moments that might take you off guard. Certainly, if you were a little kid. I'll tell you right now, some of the big emotional beats in this movie, and I saw this. My theater was quite full. It was pretty full. The whole upper part of the theater. I mean, there's a reason why this is, the highest grossing movie this weekend, Chaz, because, hey, all these adults took their kids to see this film, and I'm the weirdo that was seeing it alone, right? And the kids, like, there were a number of kids that were crying during this movie. I heard them just like, is she going to be okay? I was like, well, I think so, you know? I mean, we see her later on in the film, obviously. This is a flashback, you little idiot. Don't you know what a flashback is, Billy? Billy doesn't know what a fucking flashback is, chap, but we'll worry about that later. But these emotional beats will affect these little kids, and they will cry. And then you'll have to buy them the toys to make them feel better, Chad. I see what they're doing here with this franchise. And again, you know, the main plot definitely borrows from recent superhero films where the pups get a variety of superpowers via meteorite crystals, Chad. It's kind of like reverse kryptonite, where, you know, kryptonite takes Superman's powers away. What if he found kryptonite, but it gives him superpowers? You know, Chase, the police dog, he gets super speed. Liberty, who's one of the recent pups, she was introduced in the last movie. She gets, like, stretching ability. She has elasticity, chat. Skye, who they focus on a lot in this movie, she gets super flight and super strength, so she's pretty much like Superwoman, I guess, in the movie. And, like, another one, like the bulldog, whose name I don't remember, Rumble, I think? He gets, like, sonic powers. He gets, like, the thing where he kind of, like, he builds up speed and then shoots himself off like a cannonball. And then they have some which don't make any sense to me, because, you know, each dog has, like, a specific profession. Like, you know, Chase, he's the cop, and Skye, she deals with aviation. Her name's Skye, get it, right? Rumble, he's the wrecker, so he gets, like, you know, all sorts of, you know, construction equipment to use. But then they have, like, Marshall. They have Marshall, who's, like, he's a Dalmatian, and he's the firefighter, right? And so he puts out all the fires, which there are a lot in this movie. There's a lot in this movie in the last one. And, I mean, again, Adventure City is holding on by a single thread, Chad. All these supervillains trying to attack and destroy it, you know, on any given day. And I was like, oh, well, they're going to give him, like, water powers. No, they give him fire powers, which is weird. And there's even a line in the movie where he's like, whoa, look what I could do. And he's like fireballs, like, in his paws. And Chase said, oh, you have fire powers. Well, that makes sense. It's like, no, it doesn't. He fights fire. He doesn't cause it. And he ends up burning something in the film. He burns, like, the Bat computer at one point. And I was like, I don't think that's what it should be. He should have, like, water bending power. He should be like Katara from Avatar: Last Airbender, but whatever. So they all get these, you know, different powers, and, you know, they then use these abilities to save people and battle villains, battle the little kitties. And, you know, they also struggle to use them along the way because, of course, you know, you're never going to be, you know, instantly good with your superpowers, chat. You know, it's going to take time. It's going to take training. You got to work together, right? You know, it's like teaching kids to work together. Then you become a better person. Well, I understand. You know, I like even how before they get their powers, though, there is this traumatic event caused by this crazy astrologist and person who's obsessed with meteors, played by Taraji P. Henson. Like, we get Tyler Perry, acrimony, Taraji P. Henson in this movie, Chad, and I'm all for it. I'm all for animated Taraji P. Henson losing her goddamn mind. Trying to kill these puppies and trying to steal all these meteorite crystals. And it actually, you know, the whole plotline, it ends in, like, something that's kind of dramatic, chat, where, I mean, you know, I don't know how many of you guys are going to see this, but they, like, destroy the headquarters of the pups, of the PAW Patrol. It's like, oh my God. It's like watching The Dark Knight when the Joker, like, blows up the hospital. It's like, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect them. Like, I thought Commissioner Gordon was going to reach Rachel Dawes, you know, in time. But no, got her ass blown up, and we just see the whole PAW Patrol headquarters ba-boom. It's like, holy shit. So the stakes are raised, chat. You know, we're not only dealing with crazy Mayor Humdinger in this movie, we're dealing with a Tyler Perry level crazy Taraji P. Henson. So, you know, it is, it's serious, all right? This isn't just like, it's escalation. It's just like the Batman films, Chad. It's escalation. And I really liked it for that. I really appreciate it for that. And the movie will just have these, you know, again, these surprising moments of drama that do work, but are also kind of funny since the movie is meant for little kids. Like, all the stuff with the meteor is, you know, the A plot, right? And you have this other subplot that coincides with that, where you have these, and this plot line I didn't care for at all, where we have these junior pup patrollers. I forget what they're called. I think they're called the junior pup patrollers, and they're these Pomeranians. And they're pretty much just there to be like a bunch of screw-ups. They're there because they don't understand how teamwork works, and they're elder puppies need to teach them that. I think one of them is voiced by Northwest or whatever, you know, the Kim Kardashian and that asshole's kid or whatever. Like, she voices one of the pups, chat, you know. And They're just there to be annoying. It's like, you know what? This movie could have been a lot better if you just exercised from the story. It just felt like, hey, you know, we want to sell more toys, and so let's include these little puppies here. But they're not necessary. They're there to be annoying. They're there to screw up, and they need to be watched like every other second. And fucking poor Liberty Chad, who was introduced in the previous film, that's her job. It's like, why it's my job? Because you're the new one. You're the new bitch. You got to watch him. She's like, fine, okay. So she has to do that. But honestly, the best part of the movie is reminiscent to the B plot from the previous film. As I said before, in the previous film, we focus on Chase and his PTSD and his issues with abandonment. But here, we primarily focus on the puppy Skye, who is the pilot and the aviator of the PAW Patrol. They establish that she has like a pretty tragic backstory where she was the runt of the litter, never got enough food, she was always starving, she was constantly ignored by her owners who were very neglectful, especially the place which they kept them in. And her siblings, her fellow puppies, couldn't give a shit less about her, Chad. They were fucking just, every time there was food, it was like, it didn't matter. That was at the forefront of their minds. They were fucking kicking her, like, get out of our way. And they would eat up all that food, those little fat bastards, and she would not have enough food to eat, Chad. And yes, and here's the thing, and yes, she almost dies in the movie during a very harsh and freezing winter. It's like, you know, because all of her fat little siblings, those little chubby pups, after gorging themselves on kibble, you know, they're all adopted by these families, but no one wants her because she's the runt. And so she's the last one alone, you know, and she's stuck in this barn, which again, this barn is not insulated. There's holes in it. I don't know, it's like we're fucking in Minnesota or somewhere, chat, where it's just always cold. 9 months out of the year, it's just freezing. You know, it's like, you know, it's like goddamn, we're at the wall in Game of Thrones or something. And eventually, Ryder comes, and I guess I don't know, I have a lot of questions about that character. You know, who is he's the human leader of the PAW Patrol, right? But he arrives and he provides like resources and kibble and all sorts of stuff to like the farmer there who's having these puppies, right? And Skye, she sees him and is like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And so she attempts to follow like Ryder, but it's during this horrific and harsh snowstorm. And we watch her chat, you know, like struggle while this sad music is playing, struggle to reach Ryder, but, you know, he's going far. He doesn't notice her or anything. And it looks like she's about to die. Like she's doing that little struggle, that little, and she like falls down and she's like, you know, trying, she's like, I can't do it. And she tries to get back up and she takes a few more steps and she falls down again. And the snow starts to cover her. And it's like, wow, they're going to kill her. But I remember this is the flashback. So she obviously lives. And then from out of the mist, Ryder just comes to her. And he's like, come with me if you want to live. He is very much Bruce Wayne, because I don't even know like how he got all of his resources. Seemingly, he's incredibly wealthy. There's no explanation as to how he obtained his wealth. You know, and I think maybe it's like a Batman situation. Maybe his parents are fucking murdered or something. And he's like, instead of becoming a bat, he's like, I'm going to train dogs. I'm going to train attack dogs to take down crime, right? They got to start him young. And he seemingly just finds all these dogs. He's like this angel of fucking death. When all these puppies are like about to die, it's the same case of Chase in the last one. He just finds him. Chad just miraculously finds him. And the same thing here. He literally drags Skye out of the snow and takes her back to meet the other puppies. And I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, he was doing that on purpose. He wanted to see how much does this bitch wanna go with me, and we're gonna push her to the limit. It felt like one of those Batman tests. You don't realize it's a test, but it's a test the whole time. Ryder, again, he's competent. He knows what he's doing, but I feel like he has like some nefarious backstory that has been left unexplored. He's the most mysterious figure in this movie, Chad, and I still don't know a lot about him. What if he's like a secret villain? I'd be very curious. And you know, Skye is then positioned to be the pup that leads our heroes against the combined forces of Mayor Humdinger and crazy acrimony Tyler Perry-esque Taraji P. Henson. And then, you know, and to prevent them from completely destroying the city and its entire population using meteors, you know, which again, you know, all this then inspires her to believe in herself and help her trauma of being neglected during her during her, her early puppyhood. That's the B plot of this movie, which is pretty amazing. The animation is solid. Nothing spectacular, but it's obviously better when compared to especially episodes of the TV show. It's like night and day. They have that CGI 3D animation TV budget, and here they got $30 million to play with, and it's not as good as something like Pixar or Disney Animation or DreamWorks in terms of the quality, but it's passable. It works. It works. Also, just huge shout out to Mayor Humdinger, played by Ron Pardo. He is always consistently funny in these movies, certainly the last one. I love how he is just this unrepentant, narcissistic villain who just wants to kill these puppies. That's all he wants to do. He wants to cause as much devastation as possible, along with crazy Taraji P. Henson, and take care of his psychotic cats, one of which is voiced by Chris Rock, and to make every effort to just murder these dogs. He's a man of a singular, petty vision, and I have to appreciate that, since we honestly don't get those types of villains anymore. They're kind of from a bygone era, chat. Now we gotta go in the villain's backstory. We gotta understand what makes him evil. Are they really evil? Maybe from a certain point of view, they're actually the good guy. He's like, no, I'm evil. I want to kill him, and so I appreciate that. That was nice. That was nice. We need more of those types of villains nowadays. We need the triumphant return of just the, they're just bad. There's something broken in them, and there's no way that you're gonna fix it. And the only way you gotta defeat him is to you gotta put him in jail. You gotta be like Batman, chat. I don't care who's monologuing at me. He's like, oh, Batman, thank you so much. Punch him in the face. Shut up. You're going to jail. That's what they gotta do with Mayor Humdinger and Taraji P. Henson. And listen, you have a number of recognizable celebrity voices in this, and they're all fine. Chris Rock, James Marsden, who is always doing these types of movies, Kristen Bell, Kim Kardashian, who certainly knows a lot about Doggy Style, so I can see why they casted her.
Don't be rude.
Are you kidding me?
I swear to God,
Stop.
don't be
What are you
throw the thing on
doing?
me. I'll hurt you.
It's they're nothing bad about their performances, right? But I wouldn't say anything too remarkable. They're fine. It's much like the other celebrity voice actors from the previous movie, and there's a ton more. You'll recognize them, even if you don't know the names. You'll recognize them. Again, it's honestly hard to criticize this movie too harshly. It knows its audience and gears the majority of its content to them. It has a few moments where it goes beyond its typical Saturday morning cartoon sensibilities and structure. But it's just a big celebration of this franchise, of this brand that little kids clearly love. It's good-natured. It's always good-natured. It's never mean, but it doesn't mind dipping its toes into tragedy and exploring the backgrounds of these puppies where, originally, these puppies, they were just like, well, you're the Dalmatian, so you're the firefighter. You're the German Shepherd, so you're the cop dog. You're Skye, so you fly stuff. That's what they were in the show. But at least in these movies, they're like, you know what? Let's play around their backstories. Let's do something to them. What made them want to become heroes? Let's provide that, introduce some adult concepts in our movie, which is meant for kids, and it'll emotionally affect these little kids and make them excited about watching the movie, get something more from them. They did more than they had to for something like this. And I can respect that. I think that's admirable, chat. And again, it is crazy that we live in a time where PAW Patrol, the mighty movie, and the 10th film in the Saw franchise, chat, is infinitely better than the quote-unquote original sci-fi epic, The Creator. But it's true. It's true. Paw Patrol, the mighty movie, and Saw X are both infinitely better than Gareth Edwards, the Creator, chat. And then you can tell, because certainly both of those movies made more money and have been reviewed much more positively, chat. I would never have made that bet. But it's true. It's true. But yeah, chat, Paw Patrol, the movie, listen, it's not for me. It's not for adults. But it has occasional moments where it's like, okay, let's give something for the adults. Let's give something for the parents where they have to take their kids. But for kids, this is perfect for them. They'll be entertained. It's 90 minutes long. You got everything that you want. You got fun, colorful sequences. You got little cute moments between all the puppies. Ryder's giving nice moral lessons, chat. Chris Rock's an evil kitty cat. Mayor Humdinger just wants to kill everybody. It's like, what's better? Taraji P. Henson is pulling the same shit that she did in Acrimony, except it's in animated form. What's better than that, chat? Nothing. Certainly better than the creator. But that, my friends, is my thoughts, my review on PAW Patrol, the Mighty Movie. But what about you guys out there? Have you seen PAW Patrol, the Mighty Movie? Are you interested in seeing PAW Patrol, the Mighty Movie based on my review? Let me know. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I want to take the time to tell you about my Patreon, Class in the Glass, which offers hundreds of film commentaries and video reactions to numerous movies, TV shows, and cartoons. If you're a fan of shows like Batman the Animated Series and Avatar: The Last Airbender, or films like Aliens and Raiders of the Lost Ark, my Patreon is the platform for you. Currently, I'm doing a subathon to reach 75 subs on the platform. If we hit 75 subs, we'll be able to start voting on the next edited YouTube reaction, which will include actual clips and scenes from the movies and shows I comment over. Choose from such films as Fire and Ice, Masters of the Universe, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or Spawn. Subscribing at any tier level is appreciated, and feel free to give feedback at any time. Thank you again for watching the video, and see you next time.